What's up, everybody? Hey, today it is episode 14 of Staying In-Sane. Tonight we talk, about a bunch of different shit. We talk about food a little more. We talk about leftovers. Adam gets on a rant, gets all excited like he normally does. So I hope you enjoy, and we'll see you next time. Thanks. What's up, boys? How you doing tonight?
Raspy and sore throat, but I'm okay.
Sexy. Whew. Adam?
I have an Oreo flurry.
That's good.
I'm doing good. How about you?
Pretty good. How was mowing grass?
Horrible.
Yeah?
Was it really
Yeah.
long?
Yeah, and I'm allergic, and it's hot, and I'm fat now. So, those are three negatives.
I understand that struggle. So, speaking of mowing grass, each day in each household you have to do a certain amount of chores. I want to know what you guys' least favorite is, because I know what mine is, hands down. And if there's any reason behind it.
Least favorite?
Yeah, least favorite chore to do.
I do all the chores in my house, so
Yeah,
all
me
of them
too,
suck.
so.
But dishes has to probably be the
Yep.
worst.
Okay.
Mostly because I am very forgetful after dinner. Like, I'm groggy and full, and I just like, meh, dishes can wait. And then I wake up the next morning because I completely forget about them. And I'm like, oh, that pasta sauce is really on there. That's gonna suck. So, I tend to forget about them for like a day, and then it's just a bitch to do them.
Nope, I understand that. I understand 100%. Adam?
Dishes.
Dishes?
Because, like, Jeremy's forgetful, but when your whole family likes to mix, like, mayonnaise with, like, sauerkraut with, like, lemon juice and, like, just straight up, like, it's like, it just all, like, one meal is, like, freaking 30 dishes because you can't put two things on the same plate if you live in this house. You can't put your, like, fries next to your chicken, next to your sauerkraut. So it's like, oh, might as well get 10 plates, and then they put it in, and it all just sinks to the bottom. So, like, the top's like, this isn't that bad, and then you get to the bottom, and it's just a cesspool of everything we've eaten for the past week, and it's like, oh my god, I can't.
Alright, we're not gonna glaze past the part where you said chicken and sauerkraut. Who the fuck puts chicken and sauerkraut on the same plate?
I like how I thought you were gonna bring up the fact that I said blood, but no, you're like chicken and sauerkraut. Ew.
I mean, there's blood sausage,
but yeah, no, we don't actually eat blood. It's just I was trying to think of gross things. But blood's really not that gross. A lot of things to say shouldn't really be said on YouTube. Doesn't mean they aren't.
It'll be all right. So for me, it's mowing 100%. I fucking hate mowing, and I have to do it at work too.
Ooh.
And I just hate it. I'm hot. I'm fat. I just don't like it 100%.
Are you allergic?
No, I'm not allergic. Just fucking hate it.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, it's not that bad because I jam. Like, I always have headphones on, and if anybody like drove past with their windows down, they'd be like, "Wow." Like, no.
I was actually at work one time, and I was, I think I was just finished up. I was leaf blowing, because at work we have to blow all the grass. Well, we don't have to, but we like to. And I was singing. I had my headphones in, and my secretary said I scared the living shit out of her because I walked by the window, and I was singing, and I scared her.
Yep. That's me.
So, this is going to be a wild turn here, but the next topic I have for you guys is, we all know that with the internet growing, a lot of people put a lot more personal information on it, which means there's a lot more people out there trying to take that personal information. So, that's this whole subsection called cybersecurity, and cybercrime. Now, it's getting harder, I think, for the, law enforcement and stuff to get caught up and stay up with the cybercrime and stuff like that. Now, do you think there'll ever be a point where they level out, or do you think the law enforcement will be like a leg behind?
Kind of. I think they'll always be slightly behind because cutting edge stuff is so cutting edge. Like,
okay,
it's hard without being like people being really, really knowledgeable about that topic to like get into specifics. And I'm not super knowledgeable. I'm kind of, but not incredibly. It's just really hard to stay up to date. Like, you know, you can lose a lot of information if your IP address, which I can't even remember the actual what that stands for. But if your IP address, it's basically like your electronic address for like your computer, your phone, all that sort of nonsense. What network you're connected to. If that gets out, people can like, you know, kind of get into your information. It's a little harder than people think, but it is still a thing that people deal with. That's why you get VPNs, which are just basically a virtual IP address, and it encrypts like your IP address other than directly to your internet provider. That's what IP stands for. God damn it. God, I hate myself so much. You know, you get a VPN provider and it encrypts your data and protects all that sort of stuff. So, you know, there are things that people can do in general to kind of prevent it as well. But I do think that law enforcement as a whole will stay slightly behind the really, really razor cut, like cutting edge stuff.
Okay. Adam, your thoughts?
They're always going to be behind, in my opinion, because, like you said, they're already kind of behind, and it's only going to get bigger, and it's only going to get more common, because, like, now at least we have the era where there are, like, elderly people who really aren't on it, so it's not all of the world. But once this, like, generation is a little older, and the generation that didn't grow up with technology dies off, I guarantee there's going to be, like, maybe, I don't know, a very small percentage of the world that isn't on. So unless they literally start making law enforcement specifically for that, to just sit on their ass and look through, like, everybody's stuff online all day through whatever processes they have, then it's just never going to happen. Because, I mean, as effed up as it is, you can access and get things on the internet that you should never be able to access or get to. But it's possible, and it's not, like, hard. You don't have to be a hacker to, like, figure things out. I mean, I don't really know, but like, pornography, for example, used to be, not as common of a thing. Like, of course, there were still people who looked at it, but you had to, like, go out of your way to... Now it's literally just, you could be like, I'm in the bathtub, it's like, it's not, like, a hard thing. It used to be, like, have to go to the store... a sketchy store, wear a mask so no one sees you, hide yourself and shave, walk out, subscribe to Playboy. I don't know, because I wasn't alive back then. I just know, something like that you probably shouldn't have as easy access as you do nowadays to. It's just like, so I just assume that stuff like the black market probably isn't hard to get to. I've never tried.
The dark web.
The dark web. I have such a horrified, terrible, like, fear, guilt. I remember the first time, this is actually, none of you will believe this, but, like, the first time I actually, came across the porns, I was, like, 17 or something, because I was such a good boy Christian till then, and I remember I told my mom, like, minutes afterward I had come across it. I was like, am I gonna go to jail? I was like, I didn't mean, I clicked on a thing, and then it was naked, and I was like, what? And, so, like, I could never, even, like, for curiosity's sake, be like, I wonder how easy it is to get to the dark web, because I would, like, freak out. I would, no. But, I've heard groups, especially in high school, talk about the kind of stuff they see on the internet, like I know there's the internet gauntlet thing where, like, it's like you run the gauntlet of, like, horrible videos of people getting, like, murdered and stuff.
Reddit,
so, like,
50-50.
Don't look it up.
Be able to find that stuff, and no, I couldn't. I literally couldn't. I would probably throw up. But you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to keep up with that in general, and it's obviously still a thing. And you can't just have the law enforcement deal with things like actual crime which I'm not saying this is an actual crime, but like physical, real things, like someone's at my house with a gun.
Right.
If they're all sitting, going through everybody's internet stuff and being like, Johnny, porn 8 times this week, I'm gonna have to give you a notice. Dear Jonathan, you know, like, not that porn is illegal, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah.
I think in the future, and it even happens now. I think companies and like people who do provide like internet providers and all these social media things. They do they're like, hey, don't put out too much information. Don't do all these different things, and I think that they also will potentially like ramp up their firewalls more and more and more as time goes on. So like people can't just like, oh, hey, I know this person's IP address, let me just get into their computers and stuff, which is a thing you can do. It's hard to do, but you can do it. So I think as time goes on, companies will take internet security more and more and more aggressively.
Okay.
Like more aggressively, seriously. Just because it will become such a humongous part of our generation. It's a huge part. The next one is going to be even bigger because they won't know a time without internet. Like,
right,
yeah.
Like my kid, she's 4 years old. The internet's been around her entire life. It's been around all of ours, but not to nearly the same extent.
No, it didn't have the accessibility that kids do now. So.
Right.
Yeah, I wasn't watching Baby Shark on my dad's phone when I was 4 years old.
Right.
And kind of keeping in line with technology, do you think that maybe the accessibility to the internet is kind of what's making the younger generation grow up a little faster? Do you think that has a correlation at all?
Yeah.
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yeah, it does. It lets them grow up and realize all these like adult concepts a little easier and a little sooner. Like Allison already reads. Yeah. I was nowhere near reading like she does at 4 years old before preschool. Yeah. So, that helps her so much. Like she's known the alphabet for 3 years. Since she could talk, she knew the alphabet. So like stuff like that, yeah, they grow up a lot faster. Not just like adult concepts, just like in general, like just like the, alphabet or colors or reading or whatever. Like those things are insane, like how quick kids learn nowadays. Whereas, no, I think they'll be stuck in a childish mentality a lot longer than maybe we were.
Okay.
I think they'll be stuck in this like internet phase where they're able to still view all the same things as a kid, or the things they saw as a kid as maybe a young adult or whatever. So like I think they'll not mature in the same sort of way. For people listening, I used air quotes there. I just think it'll take them longer to be adults, if you know what I mean. It's like a hard idea to kind of describe. I just think it'll be a lot of them trying to find their way in life a lot longer. They won't really have the security and the self something, I can't think of the word, self-satisfaction in who they are. They'll be more pulling from
always wanting to be that person on YouTube or
right,
that person on Twitter,
right, or whatever, that I want to be this perfect image to all these people online, but am I still that way when it's just me by myself? You know what I mean? Am I still this person I project out to the internet?
Okay.
So I think the next generation is going to struggle a lot with that. The self-identity, who am I? Am I really this person I display online or no? So I think they'll have trouble with that. So that's the no. Like, are you gonna grow up faster or not? I think that's part of the no to that.
Okay, Adam, your thoughts?
This is tough because it
really
could go
is.
a lot of ways. Like, I'm friends with some not. don't take this a weird way, but like, not you guys. I know you guys don't, but like, I play a lot of online games with some kids who are younger, but are still just like good friends of ours. That maybe a friend of ours has been a coach to or something that we've just met through that way, and they're just cool kids and they look up to us, so they want to play games with us. But it's kind of nuts their maturity level when it comes to stuff like that. Like, specifically, if a toxic person enters a chat, the ability that they have to handle themselves in something where somebody is being a straight up trash can is like insane to me. Because me as a almost 21-year-old, still, like, if somebody comes throwing words in a chat, I'm very much the one to either just joke and make fun of myself, or just try to, like, well, let's talk it out like a serious conversation. I'm very sorry you feel this way, sir, and you just, like, but then, like, these, like, 15-year-olds will come in here, and they'll be like, oh, you're trash kid, and I'll just sit there and be like, excuse me, sorry, what did you say? I don't even, you're weird, like, I'm like, geez, oh, man, like, this isn't even affecting them. Like, the internet has, like, already just crushed all innocence he has, and this is just, like, he's already, like, 65 years old and just ready to deal with all the shit from everyone. And I'm like, Jesus. Okay. It's kind of, so I guess in that instance, if anybody, and I get, probably you guys had very earlier exposure to that than me, growing up playing things like Call of Duty and Halo. Those chats are not ever really just like, hey guys, good game, great job, other team. So,
yeah.
You know,
they didn't quite go like that.
Right, so. Yeah, so it could just be a lot of that. But yeah, I don't know. I know one thing for sure is nobody is going to have any patience in like 10 years. We might not have to, but the immediate gratification, like Jeremy was talking about, like how everybody's just used to something happening instantly. Like, I don't know how traffic will work. I feel like people will lose their mind. Like, people just go on, like, snap all the time, because they'll be like, it's been, like, 20 seconds! Like, oh! You know, like, because already, like, a lot of people are that way. I feel like driving especially has, I don't want to say gotten more dangerous, because they've made a lot of leaps for more safety, but people just drive with less shits given.
Yeah.
So,
for
like,
sure.
Technology is just going to affect a lot. Whether or not it makes people grow up faster or not, it's really just going to depend. I feel like if we keep going to the direction we're going now with the internet, probably not. We'll probably all be little 5-year-old crybabies for the rest of our lives because, you know, there's lots of toxicity and lots of just, like, let's just complain and shit on everybody who does anything mistake-wise.
Wow. That was a volume shift there. Holy crap.
You know, you didn't do anything. It happened.
Yeah, it was just.
I watched both of your guys' faces. I was like, oh god, they really don't agree with what I'm saying. Like,
no, you're
both
good.
You were like, I was like, I thought the internet did that. You know, like, because everyone makes mistakes, and everybody is, not everybody, but most people are on the internet now, and so all of that's amplified.
Right.
You know, like, back then you could make a mistake, and you wouldn't have, like Jeremy was saying, it's so much about being this perfect, like, viewpoint on the internet. Like, you gotta be, like, this sign of, like, perfection, or else you're, you know, you feel like shit about yourself because any tiny little thing you do while you're growing up, you just get, like, just totally crapped on for. You know, because people get torn apart if they say, like, something, I don't want to get into, like, specifics, but you could say one thing and, like, be crushed by the internet forever. It's hard to come back from mistakes that people have made always.
I mean, Pew did it.
Yeah.
Well,
and he's come back though, and I feel like he is one of the best examples of how to handle things. He didn't do the whole, like, you know, like, guys, I just want to, which there's sometimes not, there's a very specific way that I feel like you have to deal with these things, and it is shitty, because some people's way of dealing with it is to get on and, like, be in tears because they feel like shit, because the internet, like, gave them 1 billion death threats, and now they feel like the world wants to kill them, and they might just be overwhelmed, and they're like, I'm really sorry, but then the internet views that as, like, oh, like, sure, like, play the victim card. But me, myself, am a very emotional person, and if I did something and got 1 million death threats, I would probably be that person. But Pewds literally made it like a 5-minute ordeal. Was like, hey, I did this. I'm sorry. I'm a shitty person. I'm human. Let's get back to the content. And it was like, that was just so weird compared to the other like 40-minute apology videos that it's like, and when I was little, my dad, it's like, wait, what? But he just got right to the point. He's like, I'm human. I apologize. It was definitely an F up. Sorry. Meh. I'm not gonna lie though. If anybody's gonna be that guy who's like, oh, it's me. So,
okay,
real mature, and the internet helped me grow up.
Now, Jeremy, you touched on it a little bit. Do you think content creators, in particularly, having that kind of that facade, do you think that's going to negatively impact the youth a lot, or do you think it's something people can start to see through after a while?
I mean, you gotta take everything with a grain of salt. Like some people, some content creators are like truly that's just who they are. Specifically the iWatch guys, they're from Rooster Teeth, they're Achievement Hunter, and they're literally, it's just like this, it's just us, sitting around dicking off, they make videos and they're just like, yeah, fuck off, whatever, I don't care, leave me alone, we're just doing this to have fun. So yeah. That's like, at least as far as I see it, a very like wholesome, like, they're just who they are. They're doing their own thing, and if you don't like it, they don't care. They're still doing what they're doing. But then there's also other people that are like, their whole thing is just this whole mask. It's this whole mask they put on, this persona, facade, whatever you want to call it, that they put on when they get in front of a camera. And people, and I see through, you can tell on most things, like, is this who they really are or not? Because a lot of the time they're gonna struggle to keep whatever their mask is on, because some people slip, and it's like, you can tell, like with news reporters, for instance, as a very general one, that's not their real voices at all. Not at all. That's a newscaster voice that they're taught to use. There's the video of the guy in Georgia or something. He's a newscaster, and he's standing there, he's talking into his microphone, and all of a sudden he gets a bug fly into his mouth, and he's like, motherfucker, piss. Like,
I've seen that before.
It's a really old video, it's grainy, it's like a 480p video. It's online somewhere, go look it up. And that shows you like the differences between what you put on in front of the camera versus what you might be in your personal life, in your private life, whatever. So I think that will negatively impact some kids in the future, because they see the characters that people play online, and they're like, oh, I should be like that person, and then they realize, like, wow, what is this? What is this identity that people are trying to put out there? Like, what is this? It's just, it's like hard to foresee what will happen, but I do think it will negatively impact people. I think they'll have a over-idealized view of what they should be as a person, rather than being a little more realistic and being like, okay, look, I'm a human. I have flaws. I fuck things up. Things are what they are, Okay. So I think it'll be a new hurdle for the next generation to overcome.
Okay.
What about you, Adam?
Okay, so this is something that I've lost sleep over for probably years, because I've always wanted to kind of take the path that I'm trying a little more to do now with the whole content creator side of things, and I've watched it for years, and there is such a fine line that you have to walk with it between being real and being a content creator, because I'm sure you guys can agree that a big part of it is performing, and so in order to perform, there are definitely people out there who are successful off just being themselves and just being exactly off camera as they are on camera. But and the biggest YouTubers out there have their persona. It's still them, but it's just like them kicked up some notches for camera.
Okay.
So like Markiplier, you can watch him, he'll scream and be funny and play video. Great person though, but he shows both sides of it. Like, and he's even said he's way more of an introvert than he appears on camera. He likes being to himself. He likes kind of like being quiet and chill. You know, he's not the kind of guy that's going to seek out being in big crowds and stuff. But, you know, that's just part of the system, is you have to kind of perform in a way. Like,
well, if you're not entertaining, then
right.
Why are people going to come back to watch you?
Right. So in that instance, again, it's that fine line between, we'll just use Mark as this example the full time. Like, Mark, Jack, PewDiePie, they all kind of do this. They all definitely do this. They show, you know, there's the performance side where they're still funny. They're just not trying to be funny. They are being funny, but doing it hyped up from their normal person. But then they also will have times and moments where they're just being full realism. And back to the whole, like, people who can get emotional on camera. Sometimes there are instances where it really shows a character and just a characteristic of a person and their realness and how much it means to them. For instance, Mark, as much as it is a meme, him crying on camera has truly shown how much of a caring, like, really emotionally affected guy he is through YouTube and through what it's meant to him and stuff. Okay. But then there's, I'm not going to use specific examples for the other side, but there's YouTubers who will just cry to get the, like, oh, this must be really and it is a weird thing, because there's a lot of people who don't see that. It's all just a blurred thing, and that's what makes stuff like this hard. It can be really hard to tell who is a genuine person and who is a faker. I am kind of with Jeremy, where I feel like I can see through it pretty well. So, like, if somebody's kind of just full of shit and just faking everything, I feel like I have a pretty good sense of it. But then again, like, the thing that gives me hope is some of the people who, to me, like, I would bet my whole existence on are just genuinely good people, seem to have risen to the top. Not that there aren't some people who are kind of fake and kind of on the top too. And again, sometimes there's nothing wrong with that. There's a way to be that character, be successful, and still be okay. That I'm okay with giving an example. Dr. Disrespect. If for those of you who think that is a real man, yes it is, but that is not how he actually is.
Yeah.
That is a character. But
I don't even know who that is.
Crap. Yeah, he's a streamer. He's
right.
on YouTube, but
he's very intense and yells a lot.
Yeah, and he wears a mullet wig, and he wears aviator sunglasses, and he never takes his headset off, even though he has a separate mic. Even like if he's at a live event like VidCon, he's still wearing his headset. It's like, what?
Well, he does that for a little bit of identity protection too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that as well. But, you know, it was his character that he made. He got huge and has just blown up. But
that is wholly a character.
Exactly. Yeah. But again,
no different than playing a character on TV.
Right, 100%. But again, there are moments where his genuineness somehow shows through. It's so hard to explain, but there are moments where it's not a character, and you could see that. It's like the people who I feel like are doing it really wrong are the people who will cut out any moment where it's not fully committed to this fake facade. Like, if you're willing to leave, and again, this is a weird line to walk, and I know I just kind of shit on people who not shit on. This is so hard because they're
examples.
Really is,
it's not that you're just stating facts. It's not like that you're saying that they're shitty people. It's just that's what they do. That's what they do.
So again, I know, like,
that's different.
I know I kind of said the crying on camera can look bad, but then again, like, if you're just genuinely affected and it makes you cry, I don't feel like there's anything wrong with leaving parts like that in. Like, and I get some people don't want to be, like, it's just a strength thing. They're like, oh, I cried. Hold on, let me leave. Cut this. I don't want to be seen as emotional. But, like, almost to me, when someone else is crying, and as messed up as it sounds, that's kind of what really made me connect to Mark. Is like in videos where he would be.
You see their vulnerability.
Yeah, and I was just like, wow, dude, like this guy is real as shit, and he's being affected by all his fans, and like it means so much to him. Because I am very much that way as well. Like when people donate in the stream, I really have tried hard to like get there, but it always like I'll feel the tears. I'm like, thank you so much for the $1 donation, because I know that's stupid. It's $1, but like every time someone donates, that means in their head they go, you know what, this is worth me spending something I worked to get on this guy sitting on his ass playing video games. And it's just like that, to have that kind of like, I have faith in you. It's just like, damn, man, it really is such a good feeling. So, you know, it's just relatable. Sorry, I am rambling like a motherfucker.
Okay.
No, you're
good, buddy.
It's just that fine line, and it's something that bothers me a lot because I want to be real as I possibly can be. But I'm not gonna lie, like, if it was just me playing video games and I knew I wasn't filming, this is how I'd do it. But you know, if you're playing and you know you're recording, you gotta be like, ah! Oh my god! Ah! You know, like.
No, then again, there's been times we've been playing games together, and like, I guess before you start recording and everything like that, like you get scared the shit, like. Ah!
Yeah, when it comes to fear, I really am not playing. Like, if it comes to Subnautica and I'm screaming like that, that's just that game's actually scares the shit out of me. But like, if I just am trying to act like I just did something great, that's usually like hyping it up. Like when I've won Fortnite or something on stream and I'm like, who is the best you've ever seen? Me! You know, it's like, that's obviously hyped up because it's so not true, but it's funny.
Okay,
because
I can
the
understand
fat guy
that.
sitting playing video games, acting like he's the best. You know, the bit part of YouTube. But yeah, it is a fine line. And I feel like we, especially in here, walk it very well because we're all authentic and nobody ever holds anything back. Like, there's never talks after the podcast where it's like, I kind of wanted to talk about this, but I didn't. It's always just like, yeah, it was scary, but I talked about it because I just want to be real. So, like...
We've definitely had some pretty serious conversations
that
we could have cut the whole section out of the video, and it just would have been, you know, it would have been what it was.
Yeah,
But-
and in podcast format, it is a easier way to be that way than if you're, like, recording a Minecraft video. It's hard to be like, yeah, I've dealt with death a lot in my life, because then people are like, wait, what the fuck? wait. So,
This is not what I signed up for here.
right. It's like, whoa, okay. But, you know, it honestly helps me connect to people, and it helps you feel like you know that person a little more. Stuff like that where it's just them, they're not even playing a game, they're just talking, or they're watching something and they get really affected, and it's like, wow, that really, like, they're a human as well. They are not just a YouTuber. You know? I don't know. I have so many thoughts on that, and I could go probably for years, but
Okay.
cut it. Sorry.
You're good, buddy. You're good. So, along the lines of being content creators and stuff like that, are there any certain games you guys like to play, and then is there a certain platform you prefer to play on? Like, what types of games is what I'm kind of looking for here?
Adam, go ahead, because...
Space adventure games, exploring the universe, lots of stuff that you don't know about, so you can feel real fear and you can feel real happiness. No, space exploration or anything where it's like not familiar things. Like, don't get me wrong, I like the GTAs because it's like, you know, but that's like everyday stuff. Well, like environment is normal day stuff. It's like, oh, I am going to drive this real life car, or oh, I am going to drive this, you know, real life vehicle to go to this real life like looking building. When you're in space and there's like some kind of thing like walking around, and you're like, oh my gosh, like I don't know whether to feel excited or scared. I don't know what that is. It could be adorable. It could be horrifying. I don't know.
Can you do that again for me, please?
That's what. So like Subnautica, where it's like, I don't know what's gonna happen if I go into this area, because this is like all these colors together don't happen in the real world, so this is weird. So it's like, let me take this imaginary vehicle called a sea moth that's kind of like a submarine but cooler just over here, and then it's like a giant sea scorpion snake that's like, and then you're like, oh my god. But then there's also cute things like peepers and bladderfish. It's like, oh my gosh, space is the best. Same with Astroneer. It's like, Eddie's like, we need to get this thing, and I was like, that's not a thing in the world, but I like it. Let's do it. And you could drive space tractors around. When can you do that in real life? That's freaking awesome. I love the unknownness of it, and the feeling of like, I have no idea what I'm doing, but it's awesome. It's like, there are so many things, and everything could kill me at any moment, but it is so cool looking.
Adam, we're gonna get you like Astroneer VR or something.
Oh my god, I would cry.
Didn't you do No Man's Sky VR?
I have done No Man's Sky VR. That game. So, No Man's Sky, I eventually want to do on my YouTube channel. For those of you watching this who follow my YouTube channel and like those kind of videos, I will eventually get to it. I have played it before, so it's not going to be all brand new, but they are constantly updating it, so it might be... I've only played 8 or 9 hours of it, which seems like a lot, but that game is like endless. Like, I'm pretty sure you can't win that game. I think you just play it until you're like, I think I've done it, and then you stop. There's not like an end, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if you could be like, I beat No Man's Sky, but yes, they did release the PS4 version of No Man's Sky. I did play it, almost threw up, but it was so worth it. The space flying is the best flying in-game VR I've ever done. Is crazy. It's so realistic. You hold the things and they're like actual, like
like the actual joysticks.
Yeah, that's how I knew it was the best, because I didn't get in and go, oh yeah, this is how I got in. I was like, oh my god, oh, this is like a real. Oh lord, you know, it felt like I was flying something real. It wasn't just like, oh, got it, which is fun as well. But, you know, when you get in, you're like, this is what it would feel like to fly a real spaceship. That's when I was like, well, shit, this is great. But yes, so I guess in your question, like, console is the way I go. It's because the only way I can go right now. I'm getting toward PC. It might be a bit, but we'll see. Going towards PC might be a bit, but we'll see. I'm also going towards my rap career. Follow me at ARTIZOR. All right, so Jeremy, what about you?
So I've had a PC for 4 years, and before that, the newest console I had was a PS3. And before that, like, I'd only ever had consoles. Like, I had a 360, I had an OG Xbox, Super Nintendo, that sort of stuff. So I've migrated my whole gaming life to PC. I definitely can't sit down and like play some old school like Xbox games or something, or PlayStation 3 games or whatever, or PS2, or you know, anything like that. But I've definitely migrated towards PC. Honestly, fantasy games are, I mean, any kind of fantasy, not just like medieval fantasy, like also like Adam said, like space. Just anything that's like beyond the realm of possibilities currently, any of that stuff. So like whether it be Skyrim, whether it be, you know, like No Man's Sky, or Halo, love Halo, Minecraft, any like, you know, OG Minecraft, or you know, even modded stuff. Like I was playing yesterday, last night after Allison went to bed, I played some modded Minecraft for like 3 or 4 hours, just, you know, sat and chilled. I'm not a really big action game fan too much, like FPSs. I'm not super huge on, like, yeah, I can play them. You know, I'm okay at them. But like, I definitely prefer like a chill game. Something I can just sit and do my own thing, and if I need to pause it, I can pause it, get up and go, you know, go to the bathroom, or, you know, get a drink, or do whatever. I hate not hate it, but it is upsetting, like the confinement. Like, I'm stuck on my computer until I die, in this game.
Okay.
Like, I'm not super huge on that. I think that's kind of got to do with being a parent. Like, like, I always have, like, I have the potential to be, you know, run away from everything I'm doing at a moment's notice, just, you know, because. So I think that's maybe it, but I also, I don't know. It's like a weird thing.
Okay.
Because, like, I used to always love playing, like, zombies on Call of Duty, like, back, World of War, like, original zombies. That was my thing, and we played level, I don't know, 85, 100 something. You know, it was hours and hours and hours and hours playing, trying to get up there, see how as far as you could go, and now it's like, do I really want to spend that much time on something? You know, really? So, I don't know. That's kind of been my transition.
Okay. Now, before I get to mine, I think this is a kind of a weird aside, but I think our generation will be the first generation to where we will understand that not every video game is pausable. Understand what I mean there?
Yeah, for sure.
Because I used to play a lot of Destiny back in the day on my PS3, and like, obviously Destiny is an online game. You can't pause that no matter what. I mean, you can go back out to orbit and stuff, and that's kind of like your pause screen. But other than that, it's always people coming to kill you and stuff like that. And my dad was like, "Hey, pause that. I need you." I was like, "I can't pause this right now. I'm in the middle of something." He's like, "I need it. Pause it." I'm like, "Dad, I can't fucking pause this thing. Give me 5 minutes." So he was
Mom.
He was real pissed off at me, but he understood. But so for me, I grew up on first-person shooters. I think the first game I bought that was bought for me was Call of Duty, actually. So I've always grown up on that, and I've always kind of mixed myself into first-person shooters. But then again, anything that has big fucking swords I can swing around, I love the thought of just like having a sword twice the size of your body, just swinging around, cutting things in half. It just, to me, that's good. So
Final Fantasy style.
Yeah, a little
Monster Hunter. That's where Eddie's going with that one.
100%. I love Monster Hunter.
I have a question on the lines of like gaming preferences. Do you guys prefer story or gameplay? So like, if a game has a killer ass story, but like the gameplay isn't like totally solid, or the story is shit, but the gameplay is like orgasmic.
I would honestly prefer story, because I mean, if you can play the game fine, but there's really no content behind it, then why the fuck am I gonna play it?
Yep.
So I grew up playing Halo 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Those were rough. Because I have them on my computer now, remastered, and like they're remastered, beautiful and great looking, and everything else, and it's really smooth. You switch back to the OG versions, they're rough, but they're so nostalgic to me. Like, oh man, just the differences in like the gun textures and stuff. It's like, no, this is what a BR should look like. This is what a Magnum should look like. So like the gameplay was, pretty good, but damn was the story good. And I'm a sucker for a really good, game story. Like Skyrim, for example, is another one. Like, gameplay can be rough, but the story is really good, and I have all the DLC and stuff that came out later, and they add a whole nother story, and like you fight the first Dragonborn and all this other stuff. So it's really,
it's very good with lore.
Yeah, and the lore is so ridiculous in Skyrim and all the other Elder Scrolls games.
Right.
Like all tie together.
The books themselves you can actually read. Like you could sit down and actually read the book in the game.
And they've got thousands of books in the
like
game.
a fucking weirdo.
It's not just like, oh, does this have a symbol on it? Will it give me a perk bonus? Oh, no?
Exactly.
Okay, throw it away.
It's like, oh, wow, I'm on page 68, still going. Should I, I don't know. Yeah. I'm the same way. Literally, story is the reason I like went farther into gaming, because you know I was always the guy who's like, yeah, let's play around a Mario Party, let's play around a Mario Kart, let's play around a Mario this, Mario that, because I only had a Nintendo Wii. Then the Craig brothers introduced me to Fallout 4.
Yep.
And I remember spending endless hours just speaking to random people on the streets and getting connected to characters and then having to kill them later in the game and bawling my eyes out like a little baby. And then I was like, I need to buy a console. This is what real gaming is. And then I remembered I played the entire, oh god, I was far into it just at the Craig's house. Then I got my own console and had to redo all of it and still cried. Like, I don't want to give I mean, okay, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to give spoilers because it's like, I don't know, how old now? Like years. So if you haven't
like
played
4 years old now.
Yeah, if you don't want to get spoilers, I guess skip a little, but if you should have played it by now. So Brotherhood of Steel, first group I met, so I felt like it was only right of me, and this is how stupid I am with story stuff. Because really, you could just go based on whatever you like the most or whatever you agree with. I was like, no, I met them first, I owe my loyalty to them. So then there comes a point where you find out Dance is not human. And the whole goal of Brotherhood of Steel is to kill anything that's not human. And so he's like, you need to kill me. And I'm like, well, shit, man. Like, I was like, you're like my brother, but gosh darn it, I owe loyalty to that. It took me like 20 minutes in that room where he just kept like looking at me going like, it's okay, brother. And I'm like, God, this sucks. And then I remember like Kate got concerned, so she like came up and she's like, what's up? And I'm like, I like explaining it, like trying to hold back tears. I'm like, it's like my brother. And she's like, oh, wow. And then I was like, that was like one of the roughest things that's happened to me in gaming. Still to this day. I know Fallout 4 wasn't a favorite to people, but wow. If that's the first like real game you ever play, oh man, that moment will go down in history for me as one of the best gaming moments ever. I was like, this is what gaming should feel like, but also fuck this. But yeah, that's the reason I got into it, so I agree with you guys' story.
Okay. That's a good question. I wasn't expecting that one, so. Alright, boys, I think this is the last topic we'll have before Fat Boy, but who's someone that you wish you could meet? I mean, if you could meet anyone, who would it be?
Oh.
Doesn't matter what time period?
Someone to meet? I don't know. I mean, I've talked about it before. Go back in time and talk to, early scientists of some sort.
Okay. Would
be cool. Obviously there's like the really wild ones like Tesla. He'd just be a fucking hoot. Oh. He's man, is he fucking something else. But there's that, or Einstein would be cool. I think
okay.
I think he'd be pretty damn smart and pretty fun to talk to. But then there's also like the real out there ones like Napoleon Bonaparte. He'd be a fucking character too.
Yeah.
Just like I think it'd be really cool to like go see all these fucking wild people from history that are just like off the deep end nuts.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Adam?
Yeah.
Anybody in particular?
I mean, that's hard, but also not really. There's a lot of people I'd want to meet, and I'm not a big history buff type guy, so there's not like Jeremy went the route that I feel like a lot of people would go and be like, this person or that person. I feel like all mine are like present day just because I look at them so much as like people to follow or figures to follow, or like, I need to like I want to push my life toward that direction and stuff. So like Chris Martin, lead singer of Coldplay, is more than just a lead singer of a band. It's like somebody who I've based or tried to base a lot of my life on. Nowhere near will probably ever be as great of a guy as what he is. If you don't know and you've never like seen him, even in an interview, it might honestly come off as weird at first, but like he's just he doesn't have a mean cell in his body. Like I swear, I'm sure like he does. We're all human, and he says that all the time. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm human. Of course I have feelings." But like, you would swear to God that the guy's like Mr. Rogers reincarnated. It's like so inspiring to watch, and I just want to meet the guy because I know, like, he'd have so much good advice to just be like, and I could be like, "Yeah, this is something I struggle with," and he could be like, "Well, this is what I did." He's just like, I don't know. He's like crazy, and he has so many good ways of dealing with like hate and like anger, and not that he even has a lot of that, but he's just like, yeah, he's so okay with everything. He's like, well,
okay,
you listen to the album, that's really great, and we really appreciate you, and if you're not that into the album, we appreciate that too. There's no worries. I'm like, what the crap? Like, he's like, oh, what a guy.
Okay. Now, for me, I'd probably want to go back and meet Sun Tzu. He wrote a book called The Art of War, and I've read it.
Oh.
It's a rough read, but I've read it, and he sounds like he's a crazy son of a bitch. So.
You know, there's also the messed up side of my brain that says like, and follow me for just a second, but like Hitler, like if I could go before the Hitler stuff happened, and be like, hey man, I really like your paintings, you should really pursue that. That's really cool, man, because like there was a moment in history where they were talking about that. I didn't know this. They're like, Hitler was an artist, and I was like, oh shit. And then they're like, and people crapped on his paintings and made him feel like shit. And I was like, oh, okay. So like, if there could be like one dude go back and like just be like his friend. Again, though, we're talking about this would F up the timeline because this had to happen for stuff. But like, if I could just be like, hey dude, I really like your paintings, and like, even if people are hard on you, just like, keep it up, man. You know, like, what would that do? Would he be like, wow, I have a friend in the world? You know, like, did that guy just need more love as a younger man?
Or was he just a piece of shit in general?
Yeah, or was he just horrible? Because we would know that way if I was just like, hey, just keep it up, and then like nothing happened, and like I was like, oh shit, then we know. Or if it was just like 100 times worse. Oh, for my friend Adam, and I'm like, oh god. I don't know, but you know, like, is there a weird part of you guys that would be like, yeah, that'd be interesting? Like,
no, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I guess you said Napoleon.
I'd like to, if we're going like that, I'd like to meet Genghis Khan to see like his mentality of like why he did all the shit he did. So
not because I'd want to like buddy up with them, but just because it's like it'd be interesting to know like what the heck like was happening.
You have a conversation with them and figure out what the hell is going through their head.
Right.
Like who hurt them? Like who hurt them to do that?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. No, another one. Yeah, another one I'd like. You know, there's a couple of them. You know, I'd like to. You know, if we could go back and talk to, you know, Robin Williams.
Yes. Yeah.
That like because that is such a character that like we talked about earlier. Like because he was, you know, he was really really depressed for a long time. You know, I'd like to, you know, sit down and have a conversation with him. You know, kind of get the real sense of who he really was. Like, yes, he was a great guy, and you know, he made lots and lots and lots of people laugh. But you know, he had his own problems. And that, you know, that makes him human and everything. So I'd like to, you know, if you could sit down and have a conversation and like, you know, just see what made him tick, and you know, if there were anything to help him, you know, that'd be great.
I will let you know, Jeremy, there are a few recordings of him on YouTube when he talks about that kind of stuff.
Is there? I figured there was. I figured there was at least an interview or two with him. But, you know,
Damn.
Just in general, it'd be
such a good
neat.
point.
If we're gonna go on that route, I'd like to meet a guy named Alan Watts, who was a philosopher, he's done a lot of like almost like podcasts, but essentially he was like teaching seminars almost.
Anybody who has TikTok knows who he is.
I can't think of the guy's name. There was a guy, he did, it's called The Last Seminar.
Okay.
Yes!
He was, he was some professor or something like that. And he was diagnosed with, like, stage 4 pancreatic cancer or something crazy. Like, out of nowhere. And he put on a series of traveling lectures. And it was basically, like, because he had really young kids.
Okay.
It was basically like all the life lessons he could possibly give them. He compiled them all into this like hour or 2 hour video of, him talking and, trying to give them stories and concepts that he couldn't be there to give them
when they needed it.
Right.
Okay.
So I think that'd be really interesting.
Oh,
yeah.
Another... Mr. Bates showed all that to
Did
me.
Did he?
Yeah. But yeah, great thing. If you've never seen it, Eddie, it's definitely worth watching.
Okay, I'll take a look at it. So, all right, gentlemen, let's wrap the episode up with our favorite part, Fat Boy Corner.
Skinny Boy Central. Sorry.
Tonight we got Long John Silver's.
Ooh, Long John Silver's.
I'm gonna have to look at the menu.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know any of that.
Okay.
I think I've eaten at a Long John Silver's once.
Jeremy.
Like for real once.
Jeremy.
And I think I got sick that time too.
Oh, not everybody's into seafood.
Let me look it up.
All right, then I'll go first.
Yeah,
then.
you're up first on this one, Ed.
For me, I always get the two fish, one chicken, and double hush puppies. I love their hush puppies there. I always have. I don't know why. When I was a kid, though, I hated those things. But it was like, I'd say 5 or 6 years ago, I was just like, these fucking things slap. So, sorry, 2 fish, 1 chicken, 3 shrimp. That's what I get. Actually, I just got that the other day, and I was like, I'm in love. So, boys, do you have your choices ready, or?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Adam.
So I think this is gonna. I guess I'm gonna be as disappointing as Jeremy's, but I think every time I've been to Long John Silver's was with you, Eddie. Nope, that's not true. I went with my ex-girlfriend's family once, but every other time has been with you. I think I've been there like 4 times, 3 of them with you. Okay. Their flavor of chicken isn't immaculate, but that is what I get because I'm really not good at fish. It's not like I will definitely eat them, and fish are good, but like I'm not gonna. I never have went out of my way to be like fish or this or that. Keep them. The chicken does come with other stuff. I think it does come with some hush puppies and some fries. Hush puppies are great. Fries great. Their chicken is weird, but I think it's just because it's like a little more healthy.
Okay.
I think like the breaded is not really breaded. It's just like a crisp skin. It's not like
no, that's breaded.
It's I think it's panko breading versus the other kind.
Yeah,
right?
It's not like a Tyson chicken breading is like rolled in like crumbs and stuff. That kind of breading is just like I think what real breading is supposed to be.
I don't know.
Okay.
Like a batter or something. I have no idea like the technical stuff. I'm just fat and eat food. But I think I've gotten chicken literally every time. And they're like known for root beer, aren't they? Don't they literally have like root beer mugs?
Oh no, the one by us is a Long John Silver's A&W.
Okay, that makes sense. But yeah,
I don't know if that's across
I've only ever seen
country
those.
now.
Yeah, I only have as well. So maybe they're just.
Well, I know when I was younger, it used to just be Long John's.
Oh, maybe it's a new sponsorship.
I mean, well, it's been Long John's A&W for I'd say probably 10 years now at least.
Oh, so maybe.
But I do remember when I was younger when we would go because that was like the Long John's used to be like the cheapest. So it was like even cheaper than McDonald's.
Oh, yeah.
And we didn't have a lot of money, so whenever we did go out to eat, it would be like Long John's because we could get so much for so little. So
yeah, my dad, that's like his favorite restaurant. But Yeah, so also root beer is like the go-to drink because it's like it feels wrong if you're not. There's so many like A&W signs and stuff and mugs. It's just like this would just be disappointing. It's like if you went to the Ninja restaurant, you'd have to drink Red Bull.
Okay.
For those of you who don't know, Ninja's a streamer. Also, you're probably deaf and blind if you don't know who he is at this point. But actually, Libby didn't know who Ninja was, so he's sponsored by Red Bull. What the?
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Blue hair, really popular. Literally sponsored by like, if you name something, it's probably happening.
No idea.
Yeah, that's all right. So yeah, if you don't know who he is, he's a really popular streamer who makes more than any of us ever will combined, and he's sponsored by Red Bull.
Jeremy?
I don't know. Not eating there enough.
So Okay, fair enough.
I think the one time I went, I got like the 2-piece cod meal or something.
Okay.
Something like that.
Okay.
I don't know. It was like a really generic, like, hey, I've never been here before. Let me try the most basic thing I can get from this place.
Okay. Fair enough.
So, what are your guys' thoughts on leftovers? Just real quick, because I've been fighting with people about this for like a month now, and I just need to ask 2 other fellow food enthusiasts.
Okay, so what kind of leftovers?
Just like if like your family makes food and then like a week, sometimes 2 weeks later, it's like we're still having leftovers. It's like just like I get I'm fat, but just make enough. And then it drives me insane when they make stuff I love with a passion. They only make it for like 4 mouse-sized portions for every family member, and they're like, "Oh, don't take more than that." And I'm like, "What the crap?" But when it's like something I'm not a huge fan of, like I'm not gonna give an example so I don't get hate, but it's just like let's make enough for 10 months. And it's like, oh my god, it's like we're having this again, and then it's just like, oh, what else can we do? Oh, we could chop it up, potatoes, pierogies, meatloaf. Let's mix it all together, put it in a stew, potato pierogi, meatloaf. It's like what? Why? Just like and it gets all soggy. Like, I don't know about you guys, or if it's just that we have a fridge from when Abraham Lincoln was, like, the president, but it gets soggy. There's never, like, anything you put in that fridge that'll come out good. Like, you could get my favorite meal from a restaurant, I'd still eat it, but it doesn't ever come out not soggy. It's like we, like, leave it in, like, cold water and then take it out. And then it's, like, if you put bread in there, it would come out as, like, wet bread. It's like I don't understand it. And there's so many things in there and so many other things that the smells mix and it gets all aromated as one. So if you eat like the spaghetti, it's also meatloaf and you're like, how is this happening? Oh, I just can't. I'm sorry. I know I'm fat, but I'm not like, good lord. I want like good food. And it's nothing against anybody. Like they all love it. Good on them. But I think my food enthusiasm has surpassed leftover ability at my household. But I've gone to other people's houses and they're like, we still have some of that left. Do you want to try some of that? And I'm like, sure. And then it's like the best thing ever. It's like better than our new stuff. And I'm like, I'm not shitting on my mom. She's a great cook. Love her to death. But it's just like, and we're not struggling. So this isn't like, please help me. We don't have anything. This is just me saying, I prefer like microwave Tyson chicken over like a day old meatloaf. Like the day it's made, love meatloaf. Day after, it's like this is just soggy meat.
I think your problem with leftovers is 2 factors: 1, your fridge, and 2, the reusability. Because honestly, with meatloaf in particular, what I do is the next day I'll cut it up. I'll put it in a pan, kind of pan fried on both sides. Throw it on a sandwich. Best thing you ever have in your life. A little mustard, boom, you're good.
Yeah, it's just like so. My dad owns a store and like a gas station. We sell food there. So they don't want to waste food there. A lot of times I'll eat it when it comes back because it's still like fresh. You know, they keep it in the rotator warmer. But we have had this bag of roast beef in the roast beef stew, Ziploc bag in our fridge for like a week now. And mom will like take roast beef out of it and make sandwiches. And to me, that's just like, because then like the fat goes all to the top, and you have to like peel it off. Before. It's like, oh my lord.
You microwave it, it's fine.
I think I'm too fat.
See, you have the same problem William does. William doesn't do leftovers at all.
Somebody please fix me. Like, if I'm in the wrong, let me know.
So I'm down for leftovers whenever. Certain things I don't keep.
Yeah, but
so
we keep everything.
Well, there's like certain things like pastas. I'm really iffy on if I keep a pasta around or not.
Nope, it's going in the fridge. I'm eating it the next day.
Well, no. The sauce, because it's separate. It's not all mixed together. So, like, because it'll get dried out really easily once it's cooked up. You know, the top will dry. So maybe I'll stick it in there, and then just, like, the next day if I'm getting some pasta, like, that whole top layer is in the trash because it's all fucking hard again. And you can't do anything to heat it up other than, like, reboil it. So, like... that's an iffy thing. Like, I can't do leftovers from fast food. Really?
Yeah.
There's some things, like, and there's, like, a certain amount of time. It's, like, the next day is a no-go for me, but, like, a few hours later, like, 5 hours later, I throw it in the microwave, heat it back up, it's fine. Whatever.
You guys are prudes.
And it's only some things, like burgers I'm cool with. Pizza the next day or a day and a half later, it's cool. Yeah, fine.
No, but
throw it in the microwave, that's fine.
This is how bad it got. And again, don't take this as Adam's family is trash. Anybody in the comments or listening who doesn't know me super well. I'm not crapping on anybody. They all love it. They're all healthier than I am. They eat less than I do, so it's fine. But, like, we also will bring burgers home. But then it gets to the point where, like, it'll be a burger in the fridge for a while. And then I'll come back one day, and the bread is, like, cut off of the burger. And just the burgers are put in bags because the bread has gone bad.
Yeah, at that point, it's no-go. I just throw that shit away.
Yeah. Okay, so you see the same problem I do. And I get, like, we don't want to waste food. And, like, I totally am all for that. Like, just me personally... I eat a lot of the Purdue chicken. If it's like leftover night 4, I'm like, yeah, I'm air frying some Purdue chicken. Just because I can make it, I can eat all of it. There will be none left, and then they can all have leftovers. And I'm saving them a bonus leftover meal because I'm not eating, or let's be honest, 3 meals because I'm not eating, that they can also have another night. So I think I'm just helping out everybody. I just wanted to know if I was the only one who was like, leftovers, And Will is also a fellow fat guy. That's not an offensive thing. He will say it himself. So I'm glad I'm not the only fat food enthusiast that is like leftovers. Not really a go for. Okay, sorry. Just had to bring that up while we were on the topic of food. Anyway,
okay.
It's all good, buddy.
Well, dear audience, if you've lasted this far, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. We talk a lot about random shit, and we get off on tangents, and I'm glad you stick through with us the whole way here. So, if you enjoyed it, drop a like if you want. Just let us know. If we're doing something bad, just let us know.
Throw some sock marshmallows in the comments if you made it this far.
Yeah, just sock marshmallow. That's it.
Just 2 emojis if you could. That'd be great.
All right. Well, I hope wherever you are, you have a good night, evening, morning, whatever. Bye.
Bye, guys.